In this episode, we'll be answering the question of what is hope and where can hope be found? Welcome to The Current Christian, where we communicate God's Word in a way that is both relatable and easy to understand so that you can develop a more intimate and personal relationship with God. We are coming to the end of our series called Living with God, and if you would like to see our videos from the beginning, you can do so by clicking the title card in the top right corner. But if you're ready to continue, let's get started. In our previous episode, we talked about how faith is the act of giving up control, and where we put our faith will heavily influence the level of security and support that we feel we have. So, if faith is the act of surrender, then hope would be what we expect and experience because of our surrendering. To tie this back to the analogy of the climber's harness, if a climber has faith that their harness is trustworthy, then what they expect is to be secured, supported, and safe. And what they experience is a fearless climb. But if a climber does not have a trustworthy harness, then they won't expect to be safe, and as a result, they will experience a stress and fearful time while they're climbing. Hope in this circumstance would be the expectation and experience of the climb. Fortunately for us, we have a loving God who we can fully trust with our lives, and Jesus who we can put our faith into. But just because we can trust God and put all our faith in Jesus, it doesn't mean that the mountains we face in life will always be easy. During these tough times, our expectations, our hope, can go one of three ways. We will either be nihilistic, pessimistic, or optimistic. When we are nihilistic, we are believing that there is no meaning, purpose, or structure in life. When we are pessimistic, we are expecting the worst to come. When we are optimistic, we are expecting the best is to come. And it might sound like nihilism or pessimism is a form of hopelessness, but these aren't void of hope. In fact, they are both expressions of being hopeful. Pessimism's hope is that they expect worse is yet to come. Nihilism's hope is that they expect the world has no meaning or purpose. So remember, hope is what we expect and experience as a result of where we put our faith. And the feelings of pessimism or nihilism can be because we are getting our hope from things that can and will inevitably fail. These may be things like our careers, ourselves, our family, or even our morals. These things aren't bad and shouldn't be abandoned, but as followers of Jesus, we should not be getting our hope from these things. And the reason why is because all these things are dependent on circumstances. If our conditions are right, we may have our career and even our families for a long time. But since life is unpredictable and our world isn't perfect, when a storm comes into our life that takes these things away, our hope will be swept away with it. As followers of Jesus, our significance is not based on our circumstances. Our value and our hope come from being united with God because we put our faith in Jesus. This unity with God cannot be broken, stolen, or lost, and we can draw two conclusions because of this. The first is that God will always be with us, and the second is that our hope will remain intact despite any sudden changes or tragic events that happen in our life. We can live anywhere, in any circumstance, and know that for a fact, God will be with us. There's a quote that says, "Hope doesn't depend on what is happening around your boat. Hope depends on who is in your boat." And if Jesus is in your boat, then you're okay. And I'd highly recommend that you read Matthew chapter 8, verse 23 through 27 if you want to get a full picture of what I'm talking about here. But what are some things we can do when the storms in life become overwhelming? Well, here are three things we should do that will help. First is we surround ourselves with our church family. Second, we read the Bible. Third, listen to worship music. What all three of these things do is help us take our attention away from the storm and instead fix our eyes on God. But whether you're reading, singing, or fellowshipping, there is one crucial thing you need to do throughout this whole process, which is you should be praying the entire time. And prayer is so important that I want to spend a whole episode discussing how you can get the most out of your prayers. This channel wouldn't be made possible if it weren't for God's help and His grace. Also, I just want to say thank you to those who are commenting and sharing our videos on social media. Please send this to a friend, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in our next video.